And welcome to Granny Rainbow School of Ageless Wisdom, which is occurring right now on YouTube. So I'm going to rattle through a lot of information. It's quite a download. And if you miss it all, you don't have to take notes or anything because you just go to YouTube. And if you want to be sure that you're notified when that appears on YouTube, there's a sign up in the back. So away we go. This is the logo of Granny's School, and it's the Hermit card, being the light of the world, the divine God figure in Granny Rainbow School. And the topic of today is Tarot and Astrology. A marriage made in heaven. You can see here a heavenly figure, the angel. There's a legend in Tarot that the angels gave the Tarot to humanity. My teacher used to love that. My teacher, Jason Lowry, he was very, very wise and wonderful being, and I've got his book. It's called The Spoken Cabala. So today we might call these angels the masters of wisdom of the inner school, which is where this information comes from. I'm a devoted student of Paul Foster Case, and so was my teacher, Jason. Paul died when I was in high school, so I've studied his writings. And I put together various ways that he presented. He was an astrologer as well as a tarot person, and he always included them in his written writings, which are voluminous. Well, this is the marriage made in heaven. What would we call this in astronomy? Eclipse. It's called sun conjunct moon. And some people say that's, ooh, it's bad or wrong or evil or scary. They used to scare people in the Middle Ages out of their britches and talk like that. But we're in the 21st century here, and it's time to reclaim, in astrology, this is called sun conjunct moon, exact conjunct moon. It's like the Divine Father and the Divine Mother in perfect heavenly bliss, and you know, it's like a sexual union. And this is kind of powers we're dealing with in astrology. We're going to look at correspondences. I'm not going to try to teach you astrology today, except I do want to talk something about Saturn. Right now, the United States is going through what's called a Saturn return, which is something that happens every 29.5 years. So we need to learn how to appreciate and honor Saturn. So here's some pretty obvious correlations. The Fool is the same as the planet Uranus. And he represents this wild and free, you know, he's not looking where he's leaping. This is very Uranian. And Uranus rules the new age that we're coming into now. So we're all supposed to get with the program and be wild and free and forget all the old way it's been and create something new. The Fool has confident expectancy, always the best to come. Venus. Empress, how clear can you get that she is Mother Nature and she is the goddess of art, love, and beauty. And it's very, you know, and then her heart is her shield. So that's easy to remember. Then Gemini is the twins, and there we have the archetypal twins, the male and the female, the yang and the yin, just like in the Tai Chi symbol. And the angel represents the superconscious or higher power. In fact, this is not really so much about love outer and the esoteric way of looking. This is the superconscious, the self-conscious, and the subconscious. And when they're in perfect harmony, we're living in a garden of Eden in our mind, a garden of bliss. So that's highly to be sought after and practiced. Leo the lion is the most obvious symbol in the tarot of astrology. And then the Libra scales, that shows also, you know, pretty easy to pick out. On her breast, in this particular deck, this is Paul Foster Case's deck, this is a symbol of Saturn right here. It's the mother over the father. Sagittarius is about long journeys and spiritual and religious philosophy and things of the higher mind. And here we have the journey. It starts here at the pool, and there's a path, and it goes up to the crown of light there. And that's our guide on the path. How lucky we are. So you see, you can put these pictures together with the astrology. It's more left brain, and it's a little bit mathematical, not really, but it is more left brain. So if you marry the pictures with the information, you can get an astronomical explosion of information. It's really worth a try. And now here's the card of Aquarius. She is, of course, the age that we're moving into. This is an astronomical fact that we're zooming slowly along through a change. And actually, it's speeding up now. So in some of the old tarot cards of the star, they would show a guy pouring the water to be the water bearer. But the tarot's always had a woman, the real tarot. And that's the goddess who's obviously making a comeback in this day and age. She's coming back really powerfully. And the Fool, Uranus, rules Aquarius. So they are an incredible pair. And then we have the Sun. This is the only tarot card that has the same title as the astrological. The Sun is the sun, either way you look at it. The Moon is the High Priestess. Here's some more. These are the 4 fixed signs. Of course, the Bull is Taurus and the Lion is Leo. The Eagle represents what's called the risen Scorpio force. There's 3 phases to the Scorpio and the Kundalini rising of a serpent, and then when it flies out your head, it becomes a phoenix or an eagle. And the Fool's red feather coming out of his head symbolizes that risen Scorpio force. So, and then of course Aquarius is a sign of humanity. So these appear in Jupiter and Saturn. And there we have the Saturn that is my favorite card and my favorite planet. And I want to talk a little bit about it because a lot of people think of astrology as kind of negative. And especially Saturn is always getting a bad rap. It just breaks my heart. She's our divine mother. And notice that here the feminine is uppermost. The textbook will tell you that under the veil is a male organ. So it's really a hermaphroditic picture, like I showed, like that teeth shape. The female's on top, ruling the consciousness. And when we get along a little further, I'll show you on the Cabala Tree of Life that Saturn is the divine mother. They made her into a guy called Kronos who eats his children. And how opposite can you get from this beautiful figure? So Jupiter is this great expansive force. Everybody loves jolly Jupiter. It's a circus, but without Saturn it would be an explosion because Saturn rules the center and it calls us home to ourself. If we're not doing our right thing, she will like crack the whip, like a good mother should. You know, not to actually hurt you, but like get back on the path. So that's what Saturn's for, is to remind you about who you really are. And of course, it's the final major tarot arcana, which is self-realization in esoteric tarot. It's the highest and best and most glorious thing you can be, is dancing in this victory wreath of, it's victory over what is not yourself. And you're whole and you're complete and you're ecstatic and you're dancing in the air, and that's your Saturn when she's really happy and she lives right in your heart. Because that's where our core is. This is a beautiful mandala. Very ancient. Of course, it's the color wheel. But there's 22 segments. There's a special circle in the middle here. And they correspond to the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet and the 22 major arcana tarot cards and the 10 planets and 12 signs of the zodiac. And there's 22 paths on the Tree of Life as well. And it just goes around. The colors are a little weirded out here, but red to red, orange to yellow, orange to yellow, green, and so forth. And these 12 correspond to the 12 simple letters or the 12 signs of the zodiac. And then in here are all the planets. Here's where the three outer planets are placed. In the center, Saturn, because she rules the center. That's where she belongs. And the signs go in order. So I'm going to just read them off, and you can see the color that goes with your sign. This is Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. Notice Aquarius is purple, a very, very popular color now. When I was a kid, it was my favorite color, and I couldn't tell anybody. I was born in 1939, and in the 40s, purple was draped on the altar on Good Friday. And purple was the color of witches. So I said, hey, this is cool. This is the whole 22 Major Arcana cards. And now we're going to see the astrological symbols. That's a symbol of Saturn. And Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. And then these are, so those are the 12 simple letters. These correspond to the 6 plus 7 in the center, what's called the 7 double letters. And then in here, these are the 3 outer planets. Before these 3 outer planets were discovered, there were cards in the tarot that were just attributed to the element of fire, the element of water, and the element of air. Red being fire, blue being water, and then the yellow being air. So when the planets were discovered, let's see, Uranus was discovered just after the American Revolution and before the French Revolution, right in there. It was given to air. And when Neptune was discovered, it was called a water planet. And then when Pluto was discovered, it was called a fire planet. So it just fits perfectly. It just like, amazes me that it's like they knew back then that this would happen. So these are the mother letters are very special. So now we have these numbers here are the tarot card numbers, and it just shows, you know, this is the astrology and the tarot together in a beautiful, sometimes I hear it dancing or singing, you know, it makes music if you meditate on this. And you can lay your cards out in a big circle, and you can even make a big color wheel and do it. It's really, and in my book there's a color wheel you can color in. Here's the whole Major Arcana. This is, again, the Paul K. stack. And notice all their outer colors are, you know, colors that we've been looking at. Now, I'm going to go through these, and you can see that they all come in order. In some tarot symbolisms, they give the signs to different planets and kind of gets fractured. Here, they go in order. They skip some planets, but I'll just show you. This is Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, then Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. So you see there's no switching the Emperor for the Star card or something like that. So there's a perfect order to all of this that's very comforting, I find. And there's, right in the very, very middle of this whole tableau is the symbol of Saturn. And also, Saturn rules Capricorn. So this whole bottom 7 are called the 7 stages of spiritual unfoldment. And Saturn rules the whole spiritual unfoldment. You begin here, and you end up here. All by her grace and her power within you, which is your power and grace. We are Saturn. We are all the planets. We are all the signs. We are all the tarot cards. We're the whole thing. And then she is the core, and it's all happening